All right, so my name is Zach Fisher, and I'm an intern with the National Sports Media Association. Who am I here with today?
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 in Milwaukee, the sports director up here.
Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, Mr. Van Voren. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully, I can meet you in person. You're coming to the awards ceremony in 3 weeks?
Still trying to see if I can make the actual attendance, but very thrilled to be associated with the organization for sure.
Absolutely. I feel the exact same way as first year intern. Mr. Dave Gorin put me in touch with you for this interview, and I'm excited to meet you soon.
Yeah, well, he's a great guy, and if nothing else, we have our lines of communication going here. If we don't get to see each other in person, let's keep it going this way.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Van Vooren, to start off, could you tell me a little bit about your career path into the field of sports media, sports journalism, how you became a sports director, just all of it?
Sure. Um, it goes way back, I guess, Zach, because I've been doing it a long time. No one's caught on yet, so still have the chance to do what's an awful lot of fun. I started with the radio station in the small town where I grew up. I was actually still in high school, and I had gone in to ask, the general manager of the radio station about the business, kind of like you and I are chatting here. And then when I finished the conversation, I said, hey, if you ever have any sort of job, I'd be interested, if you'd consider me, that sort of thing. And a few months later, he called and said, "Hey, I've got a job at the radio station." I was over the moon, Zach. I was very excited, and the job basically consisted of emptying the waste baskets and cutting the lawn. But you know what? It was a foot in the door, and just kind of been able to stay in the business in some capacity since then. Really good luck and great people around me. Went to college at Marquette University, worked at WTMJ radio after college, through college and after college, and then got a TV and radio a combination job in Peoria, Illinois, at the CBS affiliate down there. And I was there about 3 years, and then came back to Milwaukee at Fox 6. I thought, hey, this will be fun. I grew up in this area. This will be great. And it's been more than 35 years since. So still going reasonably strong, Zach.
Absolutely. That's all you can ask for, right? That's all
Yeah,
you can ask
absolutely. Been
for.
great opportunities.
What would you say, Mr. Van Voren, when you were starting, when you were my age, in fact, starting, like figuring out what you wanted to do, whether it was A, B, or C, whether it was do exactly what you're doing right now, what do you think was the biggest struggle in your stairs to career to how you are now?
Good question, Zach. I think probably just staying with it more than anything. I know that's a little bit cliched, but at your stage of the career, you're going to have some successes, you're going to have some opportunities that you really enjoy, and you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some moments of dissatisfaction. Oh, I wish I could, advance more quickly, or I wish I could try something else, or that particular assignment didn't go the way I wanted. I can't wait for my next assignment. So you have to just kind of power through those things. You have a bit of a sports background. I think you would understand, and I would as well, that athletes go through very similar situations, and they have to kind of pay their dues on the way up. I do think it's similar in our industry. So staying persistent, staying, keeping your spirits up really as much as anything else sometimes is as hard as anything. But if you enjoy the job, I think you figure the trade-off is worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a sports media major right now, currently at High Point. I'm a rising sophomore, and I've gone on 6 radio calls for High Point Radio. I've done 4 women's basketball. We're Division 1, so we're in the Big South. Do you know the Big South?
Sure, yeah, that's
We're in the
great.
Big South. Obviously, I'm assuming you followed our basketball team, how we were this year. I went to March Madness, so I know how it felt.
The
So.
Badgers know all too well how that one went, Zach.
You are right about that, sir. It was one of the craziest environments I've ever been in my life that weekend. I would say confidently.
So, and then whatever you end up doing in this business, you're always going to remember that it's one of the most special weekends of your life. Yes, you were there for work reasons, but what a great personal and professional experience.
100%. And speaking of personal experience versus work experience, have you ever encountered an experience where you had to choose, like let's say for example, you had a call, right? Or whatever, or for your job, and got the chance to do it for work, or you could experience in a moment as a fan. Which one would you have choose? Which one would you choose?
You know what? I enjoy working. I enjoy the role of working. I enjoy the responsibility of telling a story and the opportunity to tell a story. I like to go to Brewer games as a fan, go to, I don't know, a handful of them so far this year, but I like work. I think I would choose the work. The access is there, just you're a little bit behind the scenes. You watch a game differently. I'm sure you experience this. You watch a game differently when you're working, and to me it really keeps you in things.
Absolutely. I completely understand that. When I do my radio calls, I'm courtside in the big arena we have here at High Point, and it's so much different calling it courtside with the headset on than it is being a fan wearing HPU merchandise. It's so much different.
It's night and day. It really, I mean, people can't even understand that contrast unless you are given the opportunity to have both experiences.
Exactly. And I'll make this, and like I said earlier, this will be a quick interview. My last question for you, Mr. Van Voren, what advice do you have for future broadcasters, future sports directors, future sports media influencers such as myself going into this business, whether it's a struggle, whether we have struggles, whether we have advantages? What kind of advice do you have for us?
I would say one thing I say to interns or people that are working on a paper, whatever it might be, I always go with this line, and I think it applies in terms of how you can stay interested in the business, and that would be to stay curious. I really find even I've been at this station for 35 years. I'm going to go to Packers mandatory minicamp tomorrow. I'm curious to talk to some of the players I've talked to 100 times before, but I'm still curious about what they're thinking this week, what they're thinking about something I might see on the field, et cetera, et cetera. If it's interesting to you as a reporter, invariably that will be interesting in the way you present it to your viewers. If you're not interested in it, that's probably going to come off somehow in your approach to a story or your delivery of a story, and your viewers or your readers, your listeners, whatever it might be, ultimately are going to find that out. So I would say it's a two-part answer. Number one, with all the technological changes, the industry changing, believe in yourself. What might not look like a great chance for something today might be tomorrow. What looks like this is the path to take, that might change and knock you a different way the next day. So all that stuff you just have to kind of roll with. I would encourage you to do so. You and anybody, Zach. If I didn't have a famous uncle. I wasn't a famous athlete. You can make your own path in this business, but you have to stay fluid, flexible, and focused. And then I would say stay curious as well. It will just make you a better reporter, whatever you choose to do.
Absolutely. And then just shouting out one of the things you just said, if I may, something you said that I really took to heart. Not that I didn't take all of it to heart, but something specific.
All good.
I took to heart how you said if you don't feel very passionate and you don't feel very eager to share something with your viewers, then they might not feel that eager about the news, whatever it might be. And I take that to heart, knowing I'm from New York City, one of the biggest sports franchises in the world, especially knowing tonight, game three is at an MSG. It's one of the biggest, it's the biggest sporting event in the last 30 years tonight for the Knicks. I take that to heart because as a sports media major, and I'm on High Point University News as well. I cover news. I cover the sports reporting for the news every week. I take it to
Okay.
heart because I have a lot of friends who've tuned into HPU News and tuned into radio calls that I've sent them. They have no idea what's going on on HPU News because my friends go to other schools. They don't follow it. And I've never gotten calls afterwards. 2 months ago, I remember I did for HBU News. I did a reporting for it for March Madness. I've never seen so many people call me an hour later after the show asking, "Oh my God, how did you get all this information? It's so insane. Like you're reporting on it. You're in a full suit in front of a camera and you're delivering this information." My parents said I didn't use any filler words. I was using my hand movement, all of this. And I tried to deliver the news as powerfully and as eagerly and as like just out there as I could. So I really take to heart what you just said.
Well, that's great to hear, and you're an example of what I would hope somebody young in the business is doing. Preparing. Obviously, your preparation was terrific. You must have had enthusiasm. Even those who know you personally saw you in a different light. That's what you're trying to be. So I think you should be very encouraged by that, and I would encourage you just in general to keep pursuing your dream. It's kind of cliche to say, "Oh, it's your dream," but really it is. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
And it's a difficult industry. It's kind of an unblinking industry at times, but it's a rewarding industry. And let's just say you were working as a sports reporter in a few years, or put yourself there tonight, and you're covering the Knicks game tonight at Madison Square Garden, Zach. I mean, people are paying thousands of dollars to go there and experience it, and you'd be getting paid to go there. So always remember that, whether it's a High Point women's basketball game or a high school football game on a Friday night in the first market you might be in, or if you're covering the NBA finals.
Absolutely, you're completely right. And I can't imagine Mike Breen or whoever's covering the game tonight for the Knicks. They're getting one, she's getting paid to do that, and two, they're getting to experience it. I want to, as someone who's very eager to do play-by-play and or color commentary. I'm so excited. I'm open to anything. I'm open to anything. Don't get me wrong. Anything in the business, whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera, with a microphone on me, writing sports journalism, whatever it is, I'm eager to anything. I'm open to all and learning as much as I can. Preferably, I want to be a play-by-play commentator, but I'm open to anything, and I'm just very excited to see where it takes me.
Well, I think that sounds terrific. I think, you're coming off your freshman year. You've already had a lot of good hands-on experience in college. You're doing this internship with Dave. You're learning like a little another side of the business, and you're networking with people who are in the business. So I think you're ahead of the game. You're doing all the right things, and I would just say go Zach. I mean, it sounds awesome. So keep it up.
Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Van Vooren, while I have you here?
I was going to ask you about what your interests are and where you hope it goes. You kind of explained that a little bit. What do you think you do best?
Personally, I think I do best with learning as much as I can about stuff. I'd say I want to learn. I don't want to just sit around and do nothing all day. That's not who I am. I've never been like that. I grew up, like I said, I grew up in New York City. I'm a big Nets fan. Even though the Knicks are playing right now, I'm a big Brooklyn Nets fan. So I've always been a Nets fan my entire life. But I've learned so much about the industry that I don't really know if I want to do one thing, another. Like I said, I've done radio, but I've also done HPU News. I've covered sports. So, and I've done politics, studio stories. I've done everything for HPU News, which I'm very proud of. So I don't really know if I want one specific thing yet, whether it's, like I said, play by play, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I just want to learn as much as I can because I know that I don't have to start early. I can decide, but that's exactly what I want to do is learn as much as I can.
Well, I think you have the right attitude. I think that's terrific. I think you're already approaching things in a way that you're going to be able to grow and flourish in the industry. And you sound like you're open to things, whether that's move around to a different part of the country or whether that's to a different job. Don't close the door to anything. You have no idea. But it's a broad opportunity in front of you, Zach. And you sound like you're all prepared for it, which is awesome.
Oh, I hope I sound prepared. I'm very nervous about what's ahead, not gonna lie to you, but I'm very excited. Were you nervous when you started? Like, I'm this summer, I left New York City. I left friends and family to pursue this internship, June 1st to
Yeah,
August
I,
1st.
I mean, I commend you for doing that. Like you said, it's friends and family. You're probably, 95% of your friends are back home after their freshman year, hanging around, and you're not. You know what I mean? So that's not an easy thing to do, but I commend you for it. And as I say, you are ahead of the game because of that, in my opinion. I wouldn't rest on your laurels and say, "Oh, I did an internship, I'm set." But I would say that has helped me early in my career. So was I nervous? Sure. And that goes back a little bit to what I was saying. You don't get exactly the opportunities you want at the time you want. I can remember being, when I was in radio in Milwaukee after I graduated, after I graduated college, I was still in radio for a while and would send out, tape. Zach, the old days, I had to send out the tape and, go to the mailbox and send out a physical tape. And, it would go nowhere. You know what? You wouldn't get a reply on it. And you're thinking, how many tapes can I even afford to send out? I mean, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I can't just send out 50 tapes. I have to really, kind of ration them and figure out, customize where I'm sending them and target. And then when you didn't hear anything back, boy, that's depressing and you wonder what's going on. So sure, I was nervous and uncertain and anxious and all those things. And then ultimately you get an opportunity. And that first opportunity to me is the hardest. That's the one. You're coming out of college with a lot of other folks coming out of college in a couple of years. You got to get that first opportunity. Then it's up to you once you're in there. I trust that you believe in yourself. You just need that chance to show yourself. So I would say get that first one, whatever it is, and it goes from there.
Absolutely. That's my goal is to get my first one. My idol, my lifetime idol for the last over decade is Ian Eagle. Do you know who Ian Eagle is?
Sure.
He does play he does
Sure,
comment.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's got a good name. It helped him in the broadcasting industry, but that's only going to help you so much. At that point, you got to do it yourself once you get in there. And the name is passed on now and continuing with generation to generation with him.
100%. You're right. That's actually a very good point that it gets passed on. That name can only take me so far. That's a really good point.
That's
My
right.
goal is one day to
Yeah,
be what my goal is one day to be like him, but be the Zach Fisher Iron Eagle. You know what I mean?
that'd be cool. Yeah, no doubt. And then somebody somewhere saying, my idol is Zach Fisher. He's from New York City and he went to High Point and he made it big.
Let's hope one day that is the case.
Well, I commend you for what you've done so far, and even making the decision to go down there and do an internship, away from home after just 1 year of college. That's a big step.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Van Voren. I'm going to end the recording here. It was a pleasure to spend time with you this evening, and I can't wait to look forward. I can't wait to keep in touch with moving forward with you.
Yeah, please do, kids. Keep the lines open. Please say hi to Dave for me. I will give him an answer one way or another, a concrete answer whether I'll be able to come down later in the month. I should know for sure one way or the other in the next day or two here. So if you see him, let him know that. But
I see him every
he's a
day.
great. Okay, well, he's a great guy, as you know, and you're learning from a guy who's experienced so many different things. He's impacted so many lives. So great for you. I'm happy that he put us in contact, and I hope that we talk again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Van Voren.